I'd like for Jim Kelly to please come up and tell the story.
I don't know how much story it is. A lot of it is just research from books. It was back in 2005 that I was working with Lily and Jennifer in her attic in a Long Island farm. And Laura knows, she saw me around there all the time. And we were trying to collect historical documents, antique pictures, which today are now at the Maryland State Archives. But Lillian said to me, she said, Jim, you know, the campaign to save Cromwell Valley is not the only group or the only person who tried to save the atmosphere, the environment of Cromwell Valley. There was a little gray-haired woman, African American, by the name of Genevieve Norris. And Genevieve played a part in that she inherited from her father a plot of land that on the Maryland tax map is plot 219. And it just so happens that plot 219 is right at the end of the park now. When her father, well, she was one of 14 children that she and her father, Thomas and Grace, raised. And Genevieve was, she wasn't a rich person, but she was a worker. And she would, at 9 years old, she started cleaning houses to earn some money. Later on, after she grew up, she was the proprietor of a child care center, which she ran during the day, and then she worked in her husband's cleaning business at night. But she continued to work. Genevieve lived on Railroad Avenue in East Towson. She lived there most of her 92 years. That's where she had her daycare center. She also was the first African-American school bus driver in Baltimore County. There was nothing holding her down. However, in 1980, Genevieve lost her only child. It was her daughter, Louise, and she immediately started the process to adopt her granddaughter as her daughter. Don't know how long it took, but it was successful.
Years.
Yes, right?
2 years it took.
3?
2.
2, oh, okay. Takes a long time. We have with us today Chanel Cooper, who was raised by her mother, and even though Genevieve only had education up to the 5th grade, she persuaded Chanel to continue or to get as much education as she possibly could. And Genevieve paid for Chanel's private high school education and her Loyola College education. So Chanel never experienced education loans. But it was because Genevieve said no to the developers. There was an area, the whole valley was scheduled for 1,500 residences here. And all of the landowners had agreed, they had planned, they had plotted the development, and it was because of Genevieve, in addition to the campaign to save Cromwell Valley. But Genevieve said no to every developer, every person who asked to buy the lot 219 that she inherited from her father.
And that was 11 acres, right?
11.9 acres.
Where specifically was that?
Do you know where Railroad Road empties into the park? Where Hart Road empties into the park? Either one, it's right there. The 11 acres covers both of those roads, entrances. So we have Chanel here tonight to honor her and to receive the honors that her grandmother and mother, Genevieve, benefited the park, benefited us. So what I'd like to do is to ask Janice Green, who is the Governor's Commissioner for African American History and Culture.
Representing Baltimore County.
Okay.
Both of us.
And Chanel, I'd like you to come stand up. And while we're getting organized here, everybody in the Cooper family, would you please stand up to be recognized?
Norris. The Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture is dedicated to collecting, preserving, promoting, and discovering African American history throughout the great state of Maryland. And I am fortunate enough to represent Baltimore County, and I've been on the commission since 2017. I wanted to hold a meeting of the commission, and that brought me out here to Cromwell Valley Park, to this very room. But we found out that it was too small. But karma works wonders, and God's wonders are impeccable, are perfect. Because it was through that I met Jim Kelly, and I learned about Genevieve Norris. And I began to learn more and more, and I took this to Governor Moore, and he decided that your grandmother was deserving of long overdue gubernatorial citation. And